bees, and welcome back to our apiary. I'm Dr. B, and in today's video we are going to be unboxing this gorgeous pen, and I will also be showing you how to use it. So recently I decided to order this beautiful pen from Amazon Australia, and I'm so excited to share this with you. As some of you already know, I absolutely love using ink because it is such a versatile medium. And so, of course, when I first heard about these pens, I was definitely intrigued and wanting to try them out for myself. I've also taken some time to do my own research on this topic, and I will be giving you some important information about how to use them in case you are wanting to try these too. So let's begin. Now, I've edited this out, but honestly, there was an audible gasp when I first opened the lid of this little box and saw this pen. Does anyone even know how this jellyfish became encapsulated in the glass? How could something that used to be sand now look like this? I was definitely intrigued and couldn't wait to get started. In the box, as you can see, we have the pen, we have the small glass rest for the pen, and we also have some ink. And I think this ink has little mica flakes in it. And yes, as I roll this bottle around, I can definitely see those settling in the bottom of the bottle. Let's give it a shake. And it does settle rather fast, so I don't think we'll see many of those flakes being picked up by this pen, but we can always use a small paintbrush when this bottle is almost empty. And I think picking up this mica with the brush will give a nice little sparkle effect, which we will see then. First things first, that bottle, it's so tiny and not very stable. It only holds 7 mils of ink, and I didn't want to spill this tiny bottle and have almost no ink to test for you. So I made a makeshift ink bottle stabilizer because let's face it, breathing is not optional, and I didn't want to hold my breath for this entire video. If you are interested in more detail about this, I will leave a link in the description for you, as I've actually made a video about this because I really don't want you to be crying over spilled ink. So look out for that one once you finish watching this one. So once the ink bottle is stable enough to use, grab a little plastic cup of water and set it near the pen. I think a small plastic cup is best for rinsing ink off of a glass dip pen. Otherwise, if you use a glass jar of water instead, you may accidentally bump that with your pen and create a chip on the nib, and then of course your pen won't work anymore. So the way this pen works is by something called capillary action. According to Wikipedia, capillary action is the process of a liquid flowing in a narrow space without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, any external forces like gravity. So those little grooves in the nib are the narrow spaces this definition is talking about. When the ink comes into contact with the glass nib, those grooves will actually draw the ink upwards and load the pen ready for use. The first thing I wanted to do is swatch out the ink. I do this every time I get a new art supply. It's so important to have a play with new supplies before you begin to use them in an art piece so that you can get a feel for how the supply works. I love the way the ink flows smoothly off the glass, and I found that I didn't have to reload the pen very often at all. It had a really good weight in my hand, and I actually really enjoyed using it. One thing I realized, however, from the very beginning was that it was going to be difficult to create soft changes in value. Those soft transitions might not be possible with this kind of pen. I quickly realized that with any kind of dip pen, I could only use hatching, cross-hatching, and stippling to create value changes. So for my first art piece, I decided to create this orchid with a more illustrative feel. I wanted to move slightly away from realism for this one, just to get a slightly more tattoo-esque piece. With the gold ink, I did have a feeling that this ink would be too thick to use, and as many of us know, capillary action works best with fluids which have the consistency of water. Anything thicker does not work so well, so I did find myself fighting the gold ink here, but I pushed through because I think this piece really needed it, and hopefully you guys like the finished product. Something to remember here, especially if you are used to using calligraphy pens or dip pens, make sure that you don't press hard when you're using this pen. It will not give you more ink. Remember, it is not a fountain pen, and pressing hard may actually cause that glass tip to break. So please be careful not to ruin your pen. Also, turning your pen if the ink is not being applied evenly. So rotating your pen as you're creating your lines will help you to get more ink on the paper. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching my bees, and I will see you in the next video.